Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Tyler Dittmer, bringing to you the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series, brought to you by Nazareth 360 Racing Network's Hillbilly Custom Baits All-Star Race 135, live from the virtual Talladega Motor Speedway, the 2.667-mile SuperSpeedway down in South Alabama. And we are looking forward to a very exciting 50-lap All-Star Race event tonight for you folks. The drivers will have an opportunity for a little bit of a halftime break at lap number 20. But tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be bringing you something different, and that's going to be open qualifying, which will kick off in just over 2 minutes' time. All the drivers will have 10 minutes to get their fastest lap possible. They'll be in a pack drafting, and we're going to bring you as much of that qualifying action that we can when it happens. But first, I want to take a quick look at the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series point standings coming into tonight. And after last week's dominant display at Homestead Miami Speedway, even though he didn't get the win he may have wanted, Nathan Mount has overtaken Justin White by 5 points, leading here at this All-Star Race point. We only have a few more races until the postseason begins, but that battle for the top spot and those additional playoff points is as tight as it has been all year, with just 5 points separating the 971 machine of Maurer and the number 2 machine of Justin White. Looking further down throughout, you got Robbie Richards, Brady LaBeouf, Jared Tribune rounding out your top 5. And obviously some of these drivers have not had the results that they've wanted in the past several weeks, but they're moving in the right direction. Meanwhile, Jason Morales has seemingly found himself in a little bit of a slump, falling to 10th in the point standings. But he's still holding on, looking quite comfortable for a playoff position as we get back to the racetrack. Still just over a minute time remaining, but we're going to quickly go over the race notes for the night. Our all-star race break point will be lap number 20 for a total of 50 laps tonight. Fuel is limited on these drivers tonight. Fuel window will be 21 to 24 laps, so that final stage may be a battle of who can save fuel on the path, or we may see a green flag stop. They'll have 3 sets of tires to work with, and for tonight only in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series, each driver gets 1 faster pair to use, thanks to it being an all-star race event. Furthermore, important notes for those who like to keep track of how these drivers are making money on the week. We are giving out a special award for pole. That'll be $24. And then a $24 award for winning the stage at lap number 20. And we're only paying out the top 3 drivers tonight. So bigger payouts, but only going to the top 3. So the guys we'll be talking to after the race will be bringing home the big checks. As we're waiting for qualifying to begin here, just 20 seconds time. I'll be joined later on in the evening by my friend Wesley Outland from last week. We had a great time in the booth at Homestead Miami Speedway, and tonight we'll be doing it again for 50 thrilling laps at Talladega SuperSpeedway. Meanwhile, just waiting for this to wrap up, we'll take you to a couple of on-track drivers for the meantime. Looks like there's only a handful on track, but that would include Jason Morales, Jonathan Pugh, and Brandon Bullock currently on track. Leading the way, though, in practice is Sean Hamilton. He's run a 52.09, same lap time as Hunter Parsons in that 20 machine. As practice has officially concluded, we send you down to the track now as we begin group qualifying here at Talladega. Drivers now beginning to grid in their trucks, and it should be a very interesting qualifying session tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and a race in general that brings a lot of new names to the front. As we know, with SuperSpeedway, as we see, it looks like Tyler Daniels has come off of pit road. He'll lead the charge off of the pit lane, and every other driver is going to follow in tow, wanting to get part of that draft. Everyone making their way off of that pit road, heading towards 1 and 2 of Talladega. But right now, it is a parking lot at the end of pit lane. I can count about 10, 15 trucks trying to pull off, and they're all trying to jockey for position to be at the tail end of that draft to have the best run on their flying lap that they can. As you look at the chaos here unfolding off of pit road, everyone's coming out now. They're trying to find their spot in line and trying to get the best run possible. As we're looking at, it looks to be Ron Hunter, Steve Barnett, and Tyler Daniels right now should be the first one to cross and start a lap, but it should be a big pack coming off of 2 once they get formed up and up to speed. Right now, look at that 79 machine of Donnie Lyons. He's looking to get attached to the back of, I want to say that's the 69 machine of Tim Hammond on the back straightaway. These drivers trying to find their position early on. Looks like be about 7 or 8 right there, well in line. Donnie Lyons, Tim Hammond. Tim Hammond's really in tight with Jason Morales and Bray LaBeouf, and they're going to pick up Adam Newbert here off of 4 as we begin this open qualifying session. Tyler Daniels and Brandon Broadfoot already putting laps on the track, but those laps obviously are coming off of pit road. The first flying laps will be in about 1 minute's time. So we see these drivers jockeying for position to train of it looks like about 9 trucks now have gotten together here through 1 and 2. Donnie Lyons in the middle of that pack. We're going to look at his truck here and try to get around all this infield commotion, maybe get a blimp view, overhead view here of this qualifying session. Coming down now off of 3 and 4. It looks like this pack will be the first to put down a hot lap. Tyler Daniels ran a 56.12, but he is by himself. We'll see what the draft lap times are going to look like here in this qualifying session. Donnie Lyons pulling out a line early on. It's important to note that qualifying conduct scrutiny is still on, so these drivers cannot physically bump each other or their laps will be disallowed. Right now, though, your pole sitter, provisionally pole sitter, is Donnie Lyons, 51.78. These drivers have to balance not bump drafting while getting the best run imaginable here and setting a good lap times. Looks like Adam Newbert stepping out of line here of that back. The remaining drivers heading down the Talladega super stretch to begin their second flying lap 3 minutes into the qualifying session. That's a big pack forming. Ron Hunter, we're going to go 3 wide, and there's cars on the wall. We have a big wreck here off of 4 already. Steve Barnett's around. Ron Hunter, Adam Newbert, more involved, and that's going to hurt their chances of getting in a hot lap. Should be interesting to see who remains here. Drivers went 3 wide, and that's not going to work at all. Do we have a new provisional pole? Yes, Jonathan Pugh with a 51.44. Mike Allen, 51.46. Donnie Lyons drops to 3rd, but that was multiple trucks taken out here, it looks like, in this qualifying session already. Look, now we're looking at it's hard to tell what number machine that is from this angle, but it looks like we're looking at Bray LaBeouf, followed by Morales, Michael Allen, and a couple more into a group of 5 here now coming around through the tri-oval. They're going to try and set their hot laps. Bray LaBeouf will not improve. He'll run at 53.43. No change right now at the top of the leaderboard here. They're going to try and get another hot lap as we are halfway through this open qualifying session. And again, $24 out on the line tonight for this provisional pole. Still halfway through the session. These drivers have plenty of opportunity to make their way towards the front. And drivers who want to make their way towards the front, drivers who had a successful Speed Weeks. The last time we were at a SuperSpeedway in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series, we had 4 different winners throughout our 4 events at Speed Weeks. Kerry Tribune winning the Clash, Tori Thompson winning Duel 1, Brandon Bullock Duel number 2, and your Daytona winner, also last week's winner at Homestead Miami, Robbie Richards. I believe all those drivers are in the event tonight. Currently don't see Robbie Richards, but I expect him to be here in time for the event. But everyone else who has won at a SuperSpeedway in this series is currently on track trying to put together a qualifying effort. Still, though, out front, it's Jonathan Pugh, Mike Allen, and Donnie Lyons for the Fast 3 halfway through this qualifying session. Like a group of about 6 or 7 trucks here on the back straightaway. One truck off the pace, that's Cody Knott. He's on his out lap here. He's going to try and get in line and get a tow. He'll look to have his flying lap be the next lap by. Still Brady LaBeouf, Michael Allen, and others in tow here, leading up to the back of now 6 trucks, 7 trucks, one with the back there. And Brady LaBeouf pulls off at the last second, flies down pit road. Looks like he's going to try and let Jason Morales have a good run here to the end. Brady LaBeouf comes back up off of pit road. And that was a very interesting move. That's not going to improve anyone's time. Still top speed goes to Jonathan Pugh, Mike Allen, Donnie Lyons, Adam Newbert, and Tim Hammond, your current top 5. So we are down to the final 3.5 minutes of qualifying here. And before Wesley joins on the broadcast booth, I'd also like to bring up that even though it's a 50-lap race, we're still hoping for some relatively clean action. Daytona Speed Weeks, the Clash did not get off to the best start imaginable. We had 6 yellows, including a green-white checkered, but duels 1 and 2 combined for only 4 yellows and a green-white checkered, and the Daytona 200 only had 6 yellows in a much longer race than the Clash. So these drivers have gotten cleaner throughout the Daytona Speed Weeks, but it has been a long time since these drivers have raced on a SuperSpeedway. Now pose unique challenges, although this one is significantly wider than the track in Daytona. Looks like no change that time by either to the leaderboard. Cody not moving up to, it looks like 13th, but that is the only significant change in lap times that time by. Is under 3 minutes to go. Drivers have an opportunity for about 3 more laps here at Talladega SuperSpeedway to try and get themselves on the pole, but Jonathan Pugh and Mike Allen's 51.44 and 51.46 are looking to be the top times so far. It's important to note, this being our all-star race, no points are on the line tonight, but I'd like to quickly run through your bubble battle, and that's for the 16th position in points. Right now, Cody Knott is holding that position with 269 points, so he has to be slightly concerned, but he only has an 8-point lead over, I believe, Curtis Rogers. So Curtis Rogers right now, the man hopping on the door. Curtis Rogers currently sitting in 9th in qualifying, but no points tonight, so that doesn't really help him. Donnie Lyons, meanwhile, is 13 points behind Cody Knott. Keller Jr. is 26 back. Adam Newbert is 37 back, and with, I believe, only 4 more races in the regular season, you have to think anyone behind Adam Newbert would have to win to guarantee their spot in the playoffs. Obviously, it's a win-in-your-in system here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. Meanwhile, on the positive side of Cody Knott, the driver in 15th in points, that's Brandon Broadfoot, the number 24 machine. He is currently 13 points to the good, so he has to be a little bit concerned as well. But right now, new pole sitter, Adam Newbert, with a blistering 51.05 that time by. He'll knock Jonathan Pugh and Mike Allen down to 2nd and 3rd, resetting your top 5. Donnie Lyons 4th, and Chris Blanchard jumps to 5th. Tim Hammond has dropped all the way to 8th here late in the session. We have 53 seconds to go. We're about to see the pushing, which can't actually lock bumpers, or else your lap will be disallowed. Get more and more aggressive. Jason Morales making a move 3 wide to the middle. And he's going to take Torrey Thompson with him. These drivers are trying to find every bit of time they can here as we're coming to 3 and 4 for what will most likely be the last lap for these drivers in this qualifying session. Cody Knott coming up a little bit there, almost making contact with Torrey Thompson. This pack may be the best chance to get a new pole sitter as we're coming around this time by. Coming to the line, Cody Knott's going to jump out of line here through the tri-oval, go around the outside of Michael Allen. Can he put a top time in? We'll have to wait and see. And it looks like no current changes on the leaderboard. Nope, that'll not be a new top lap for anyone involved. It looks like big wreck on the back straightaway, multiple trucks involved. The rest of these trucks are racing back to the line. I do not think they'll get there in time. The session has ended. Nope, they're getting a minute to finish it. Big wreck on the back stretch. We have about, looks like 7 or 8 drivers with a chance at it, including Christopher Blanchard and more. Raul Meza gets turned. Sean Hamilton involved off of 4. We have 4 drivers, including Kerry Tribute, coming around the tri-oval looking for a hot lap. Looks like Kerry Tribute, Chris Blanchard, and Donnie Lyons looking to put down a top time here at the last second. Can any of them make it happen? Across the line. No difference in time, so it looks like your grid is officially set here. SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. Adam Newbert will be your pole sitter. Raul Meza sneaking in for 2nd place. Jonathan Pugh will roll 3rd. Mike Allen 4th. Chris Cinnamon will round out your top 5 after qualifying here, but your pole sitter by almost 0.4 of a second will be Adam Newbert. So now that qualifying is wrapped up 15 seconds, it looks like, until we begin our gridding process. And at this point in time, I'd like to bring in my co-announcer for the evening, Wesley Outland, into the booth. To go over, hopefully you got to enjoy a little bit of that qualifying session and that chaos that we saw there on the last few laps. It looks like we have set up and our grid has been finalized here in the Hillbilly Custom Baits All-Star 135. We're going to go through your grid right now. Rolling off in position number 1 is Adam Newbert. Raul Meza will be on the outside of the front row. Jonathan Pugh and Mike Allen will make up row number 2. Row number 3 will be Chris Cinnamon, the Canadian, and Donnie Lyons. Row number 4 will be held by Jason Stevenson on the inside and Chris Blanchard on the outside, one of the highest forwards in the field. Jason Hall, newcomer, will roll off number 9, and Tim Hammond will roll off in 10th. Looking further down the grid, row number 6 will be populated by Jason Morales and the Boss Man and Brady LaBeouf. Row 7 will belong to Huck Wigington and Curtis Rogers. Row 8, Brandon Bodfoot, Ron Hunter. Row 9 will be Hunter Parsons with Steve Burnett. And row 10 will be Torrey Thompson and Kerry Tribune, your Clash winner from earlier in the season at Daytona. So look at the rest of the field, 21 through 26. We have Cody Knott, Tyler Daniels, Sean Hamilton, Dan Hagan, Brandon Bullock, and Kyle Hess rounding out your field as we bring in now my co-announcer for the evening, Wesley Outland, as we get ready to roll off the grid here in the SimRacerHub.com All-Star Race, brought to you by Hillbilly Custom Baits here at Talladega SuperSpeedway. Looks like the field should be rolling off here shortly again under the lead of your pole sitter, Adam Newbert, who Adam Newbert had a rough end to his night on Friday night in the Triple M Pulling Truck Series by Nazareth. Went to go restart on the front row in a mid-race restart, went to grab third gear and put it in first and wrecked half the field. So Adam Newbert will be looking to redeem himself tonight, starting the front row here at Talladega. Hopefully when he goes to grab third, he won't accidentally put it in first. And on the call that evening was my co-host tonight, Wesley Outland. Watched that event firsthand, and it was definitely one that Adam Newbert would like to forget as we get rolling around the field here. This field looks to get set up 26 drivers tonight. Only 3 drivers will get paid out, so it should be an aggressive event. And again, we'll pay out the stage break. Only one stage tonight. That's lap number 20, so that winner at lap number 20 will get a nice payout as well. And your pole sitter bringing home a nice chunk of change will be Adam Newbert. So it should be a very, very exciting all-star race event brought to you tonight, folks. And a lot of drivers hungry, trying to maybe get back on track after a rough last couple of weeks on the intermediates, or maybe some drivers looking to continue their hot streaks in the form of Justin White and Nathan Maurer, although it looks like maybe neither of those drivers are here tonight. So unfortunately, your top 2 in the points are not participating here in the all-star race. But that means that other drivers will certainly be looking to put their name on the trophy at the end of the evening. Wesley, looks like you're ready to roll with us this evening. You saw Adam Newbert accidentally wreck the field on a restart in Pocono on Friday night in the Triple M Pulling Truck Series. Looks like he'll bring us to the green here.
Yeah, sure did, buddy. Good evening to you, man. Literally just walked in the front door from being in Atlanta on business today and in Carnesville, Georgia. If you have ever made that drive and you know the traffic, it is horrendous. It is horrible. But we're ready to go. All-Star night, for that matter, though, Tyler.
It is the All-Star night, but it looks like maybe a couple of the stars of the season in Justin White and Nathan Maurer weren't able to make it. So it'll be who is the best of the rest, maybe a little bit, Wesley, trying to put their stamp on the season and try to get themselves in victory lane and make up for maybe a lackluster season so far.
Yeah, it should be exciting and fun to watch. Obviously, the All-Star race, money on the line whenever the green flag flies, and this event will be ready to go here in just a few moments. Obviously, Adam Newbert had some bad luck, as we mentioned on Friday, so he's trying to redeem himself as here comes the field. Pace truck is in. The green flag flies. All-Star race underway for the Sim Racer Hub Truck Series here tonight at Talladega.
Adam Newbert did not accidentally grab first gear on that restart. He'll lead the field through 1 and 2. He's got Chris Blanchard in tow on the bottom from Blanchard's Towing and Recovery. That sponsorship very ironic in this situation. Raul Meza, though, is going to power through around on the outside. He's got Mike Allen in tow.
So you got a 50-lap race, and obviously you are going to race hard in this entire 50 laps. You're going to get quickly to the front. You're wanting to be up in the pack. Raw Meza right now leading the cavalry, working off a 2x2 toe off of turn number 3, working up the high banks. Now back to the tri-oval off of turn number 4. Meza on the bottom. Here comes now a run on the top side, possibly 3 wide. They throw a block on one of them, and they got a little wiggle there as they come to the line to put lap number 1, and Meza will lead the opening go.
It didn't take very long for some drivers to try out that third lane. Right now, leading that third lane will be Tim Hammond, Brady LaBeouf. And looks like Kerry Tribune is trying to make that third lane work. Meanwhile, the outside only has 3 trucks together in tight. That's going to be Mike Allen, Donnie Lyons, and Christopher Blanchard. Back on the inside, though, Raul Meza picked up your pole sitter, Adam Newbert, decided to go with that inside line, which looks to be a little bit more formed up for the meanwhile with Jonathan Pugh and Jason Stevenson in tow.
Yeah, Field works their way off the Alabama gang super stretch off the back straightaway, Dave. Now you settle into turn number 3 and 4. Meza hugs the bottom. Newbert right there behind him. Followed all with Mike Allen. Jonathan Pugh looking to go on the top side now as we see Raw Meza continue to stay to the inside. No one else can battle up on the top to try to get around him. He's going to lead this lap with another lap on the board here. 50 laps the distance, as right now we work lap number 3, and the field comes flying by here, presented by Hillbilly.
3 by 3 by 3, but that only starts around row 4 or 5. Right now, the bottom lane is controlling this race. The front 3 clear of the rest of the field. Meanwhile, Chris Blanchard's hopped to the outside with Steve Burnett to lead that third lane. Looks like Donnie Lyons suffering from a little bit of internet problems, making maybe the driver behind him and Curtis Rogers a little weary to work with him. That allows the inside lane to now pull 4 trucks clear. They're going to pull Jason Stevenson, and now it looks like Jason Hall ahead of Mike Allen, who leads the middle lane.
The All-Star race right now in the opening handful of laps, presented by Hillbilly Custom Baits as they come storming down through the tri-oval. It's 3 wide behind them. 3 wide with the top 3 trucks still single file. They stay catfishing on the inside. Meza, Newbert, Pugh holding everybody off at Babe. Now more activity on the top side as they get unorganized going into turn number 2 there, Tyler.
Top lane found a little bit of speed there through the tri-oval. Blanchard took Barnett, Tribune, and Brady LaBeouf with him on the outside, and they brought the middle lane with them. Now only 3 trucks clear on the inside. It will be 2 probably by the time they get to the end of the backstretch. It's just Newbert and Meza. Meanwhile, it's a 3-wide battle for third.
Amazing how they're still able to keep it together. Nobody making any wrong moves just yet, or the opportunity yet to go for the win. Still in the early going as they're about to put a handful of laps complete when they work around to the line this time by. From the camera angle, from the backstretch view, crossing, start, finish, as they roar their way back through the tri-oval. Meza will lead this lap. It's still Newbert. Pugh will now fall to 3rd. Stevenson, Allen, top 5, and that's the way they stand as they climb the banking into 1.
Outside lane losing a little bit more ground. Brady LaBeouf's going to abandon the outside lane, look towards the middle. Middle only has 3 trucks as well, so Brady LaBeouf helping it now move to the outside. And it looks to be, I want to say, the Hunter Parsons machine. He jumps to the outside. He's going to try to make a move with the middle lane, but that middle lane is fractured into 2 sets of 2 trucks. That outside lane only has 3 trucks together. Inside lane's going to hold dominant here for a while until they get more organized.
They're trying so hard, Tyler, to get something started 3 by 3 by 3 and make something work on the middle of the top lane as you see trucks all the way up at the top of the safer barrier, but still the inside race is the way to go. It's Meza continuing to hold off the cavalry. Right there, Newbert in 2nd as you see them start to get unorganized again, and they try to go 3 wide again for 5th, 6th, 7th on back into turn number 1.
Yeah, that 3rd truck in line on the bottom with Jonathan Pugh's been stepping out of line. That's been allowing that middle lane to get a bit more of a run in the corner, and they're going to do so this time. Hunter Parsons should be able to get well up there battling for 3rd here on the back straightaway. He's got help behind from Curtis Rogers. Curtis Rogers dives to the outside. He's going to make a move. Parsons has to block. Parsons blocks back down on Brady LaBeouf in the middle. Brady LaBeouf will now be 2nd in that middle lane. Hunter Parsons still leads that middle lane. Curtis Rogers gets sent all the way to the outside as they come around through 3 and 4. Raul Meza and Adam Newbert still 1 and 2 up front.
A lot of shaking going on, a lot of disturbance with these trucks trying to fight the draft. Highest climber of the race so far in 5th, up 12 spots, the number 20 from Green Bay, Wisconsin, Hunter Parsons. He's in the middle of this hornet's nest brewing as they come to the line and they go back into turn number 1.
That middle lane's finally found something with Hunter Parsons and Brady LaBeouf working. They're now going to challenge for second. Parsons just to the outside of Adam Newbert as they're coming off of 2. They should get the run down the back straight away. That's Parsons, Brady, and Hammond. Those trucks are nose to tail. They're going to make a move, challenge for second, and hopefully challenge for the lead as they enter 3 and 4. Right now, though, Mezza's still out front. Newbert is giving him a big shove as they enter 3 and 4.
Yeah, they almost go below the bottom of the yellow line, and they got to get right back organized and get back on the inside. Follow behind Mezza as Newbert is right there as his wingman. All the while, here comes now Brady LaBeouf. He'll make a run up on the top side. All of this going on now is Mezza, Parsons going to second. He's trying to get a run on the leader now. All of this taking place as they cross the line. Mezza is going to hold on at least to this time. Not for long. Brady LaBeouf down in the middle as they go back into the corner.
Parsons, the first driver to lead a lap, not named Raul Mezza, but he only led for just a lap. And now Raul Mezza sneaks back out in front. Raul Mezza is going to lead them down the back straightaways with a big shove from Adam Newbert. But Brady LaBeouf gets to the back of Hunter Parsons even better as they enter 3 and 4. Brady LaBeouf and Hunter Parsons pushing ahead into the lead. Meanwhile, Tim Hammond looking behind. And then you have Terry Tribune, Steve Barnett. That third lane tries again with Christopher Blanchard, but can't get anything going. That allows the inside lane to pull back ahead through 3 and 4, but Brady LaBeouf and Hunter Parsons are going to charge hard back again on the outside here as they enter the trial.
So Parsons made a move on the outside last time through the trial. He went to the number P1 spot. He'll lead this lap again, or will he not? Mezza powers back to the inside. Give Mezza the lead again as they go back into turn number 1. Parsons finally getting something to work on the top side with the help of his wingman, Brady LaBeouf. Also, while that goes on, Mezza the leader, Parsons now the second, but Newbert stays with him on the bottom as they hit the back straightaway.
It looks like that middle lane lost a lot of momentum entering 1 and 2. Now Brady LaBeouf and Hunter Parsons have to start all from the beginning again. And also Hunter Parsons did steal that lap from Mezza at the last second, so that's 2 laps now led for Hunter Parsons. Everything else has been led by Raul Mezza. But Newbert comes up, gives a little bit of a toe to that middle lane, and that's going to allow that middle lane to fight back again through the tri-oval. Newbert maybe trying to cool his radiator, doesn't realize that that's going to allow the middle lane to challenge for the lead again through the tri-oval. Hunter Parsons with a shove from Brady LaBeouf at the line this time. It looks like Raul Mezza will lead that lap.
Yeah, Mezza's going to stay to the inside and hold on to that. Parsons is still going to go up on the top. He's got Brady LaBeouf giving him a punt in the pants down into turn number 2. Newbert will hug the bottom. So will Pugh. Those 3 trucks in a tandem, helping each other on the inside. On the top side, it's Parsons and LaBeouf falling back in the top 5 as they hit the back straightaway going to 3.
Officially, these drivers have pretty much figured it out 2 by 2. First driver out of line looks to be Huck Wigington way back there on the outside, but he has no help. Meanwhile, back up front, the battle still rages between Parsons and Brady LaBeouf versus Raul Mezza and Adam Newbert on the inside. Looks like that middle lane did not get the run off of 4 that they wanted. Inside lane is very well put together. It should lead Raul Mezza leading this lap. But Brady LaBeouf and Hunter Parsons are going to make a charge. We have contact in the back of the field. 1 car into the wall, 2 trucks into the wall, but they keep it straight for the time being. But it looks like, I want to say, Brandon Broadfoot and maybe Torrey Thompson are going to lose significant time. Nope, that's Mike Allen losing significant time on the back end.
Yeah, it looked like Mike Allen and Donnie Lyons were the 2 trucks that might have had some problems, and we are going to call for a caution flag as they'll all break apart down the back straightaway. First yellow flag in the All-Star race here tonight, presented by the fine folks of Hillbilly Custom Baits here at Talladega. And again, Tyler, you saw it break loose. First yellow flag here on lap number 10.
That's Mike Allen and Steve Barnett. Correction, Steve Barnett on the outside. Mike Allen comes up and nowhere for Steve Barnett to go. He gets shoved into the outside fence. Mike Allen has some damage too. Does it look like that 5 machine of Morales makes contact? Maybe a little bit. Hard to tell, Wesley. It looks like Allen also gets into the wall trying to avoid it. And maybe here's what will actually bring out the caution, and that's going to be Steve Barnett possibly spinning out. Does Chris Cinnamon get through here clean? It looks like he will. But Wesley, important note, these drivers do have 1 fast repair tonight. It is the All-Star race. We're a little bit generous here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. And we have that stage break at lap 20, which will pay out a nice little prize on top of the pole prize that we had this evening. So this will allow these drivers to reset. They had 3 sets of tires for this race. Do they take a set of tires and try to compete for the stage? That's what we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, gonna get 20 laps in stage number 1 here for the All-Star race for the Sim Racer Hub Truck Series at Talladega. Obviously, Hillbilly Custom Baits sponsoring this event. And all the while, it seemed like, honestly, in the opening 10 laps or so, if you're on the bottom of the racetrack, you've got the best line. And how cool will it be, Tyler, if Raul Meza could pick up this win, the Serve Pro number 37. I've known him racing for a long time in the iRacing world. Always has something happen. Bad luck. Right now, Lady Luck is on his side as he is going to commit and come to the pits while everyone else threw a Hail Mary and pull a rabbit out of a hat, if you will, right at the last second to stay on course is Hunter Parsons, Adam Newbert. It's the old cliche, damned if you do and damned if you don't. If you're in the front like Raul Meza was, he came in, he looked like he wasn't going to pit. Then he pills in. Everyone else looked like they were going to pill in, Tyler, and then all of a sudden they bonsai and stay on the racetrack.
I think Adam Newbert may have missed the commitment line. He stayed on track, but it looked like he was underneath that yellow cone. Wait to see if he has to serve a penalty on that. I believe he may have to. Meanwhile, only looks like 11 drivers stayed out. Brady LaBeouf, the first one to get off the pit road. He had a 9.37 second pit stop, so it looks like he may have just topped off on fuel. But Wesley also mentioned in the pre-race that these drivers have a limited fuel capacity. That's stage 2, the run to the end, about 30 laps long. We have to be a little bit concerned maybe about fuel and how they can make it to the end, because they may be just a little bit short at the end of this thing.
And again, pitting, have to pit here. And remember, as Tyler mentioned, there is a generous fast repair. Obviously, one of the things we always talk about in the world of super speedway racing, especially find this ironic that the All-Star race for the series is tonight at Talladega, the big one. And you know for a fact with what's on the line, you could possibly see that break at any moment, Tyler.
Of course, Wesley. And also important to note on top of that is that only top 3 pay out tonight. So it doesn't pay to finish top 10 or top 5. You have to find yourself in the final front 3 at the end of this race. So drivers have to jockey for position a little bit sooner if they want to see a check at the end of this.
So no doubt about it, the fight for the podium will certainly be what we'll watch as it comes down to the end of lap number 50. And again, obviously everybody's going to be going for the gold. They don't want silver, and they darn sure don't want bronze. But again, if you do finish in the top 3, you do get some type of money here in this all-star race. And I'm assuming with it being an all-star race as well, Tyler Dittmer, there is no points on the line tonight as well. Let's just go out, go hard, and go for the cash.
Correct. There are no points to be given out tonight. And if we look quickly back at the points standings, if we can get those up again before we go green, Nathan Maurer overtook Justin White, just like we spoke about, Wesley, last week for the overall point standings in SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. Let's look through the rest of the top 10. Obviously, Maurer and White up here tonight. Robbie Richards, I believe, is also not in the field this evening. So you see drivers 4 through 10, I believe they are all on the field except for maybe Tyler Thurman. So some of these drivers that we expect to see big names compete for all-star race victories aren't here. But when you look at the drivers who won at Daytona when we did our 4 Speed Weeks races earlier this year, only one of them is not racing tonight, and that's Robbie Richards. But Kerry Tribune won the Clash. Torrey Thompson won the first duel. Brandon Bullock won the second deal. Robbie Richards obviously winning the Daytona 200 to start our season. And then you had other drivers like Michael Allen, didn't finish worse than 15th in any of the Super Speedway races. Cody Knott had a 3rd and a 5th, but he also had a 26th in the big race. And, some of these drivers didn't have necessarily the finishes they wanted, but they were competitive throughout a lot of these Super Speedway races. Kerry Tribune being one of the drivers in the forefront of my mind, winning the Clash. Very, very good Super Speedway racer. Maybe he can find himself here in victory lane tonight.
And, of course, the most recent points winner on the NASRA Sim Racer Hub Truck Series last Monday night at Homestead Miami Speedway was Robbie Richards that picked up the win. He is currently sitting 3rd in the points. Now, I know that we show you the points as we get ready to go back to on-track activity here at Talladega. But remember, tonight is an all-star race. No points on the line. So those same point standings will filter out into next week's points paying event when we get back to racing again for a championship.
Exactly, Wesley. And we look towards the end of the season. We'll give you an update on the remaining races when we hit our stage break here in just under I believe, 10 laps time, or not less than that. I believe 8 laps time now, Wesley. We are now lap 14, so we'll be heading on lap 15. That'll be 6 to go here before we hit our little just short of halfway break. And then we'll give you a quick look at the remaining schedule the rest of the way, including our final regular season races and then the playoffs. But we'll get to that after. I guess we'll pull it up real quick. We have, we'll go back to the racing broadcast, and then we'll bring back the schedule during our stage break, Wesley.
Yeah, because I got a feeling we got another caution coming up here soon. No doubt about it. I have a feeling another yellow flag will fly here in this all-star race. No doubt about it. The lights are off on the pace truck. It's onto the pit lane. Here comes the field after the shuffle of the pits. So the caution on lap 10. Parsons and Newbert are on the front row. Hammond Pugh row 2, followed by Hall, Stevenson, Blanchard, Trabue, Broadfoot, Hunter, your top 10. Green flag flies. We're ready to go back here in stage 1. And by the way, they got to get it and get it done fast. It's 5 laps to go in stage number 1.
I was going to say 3 wide here already on the jump. Tim Hammond takes it to the outside of that 64 machine. I believe 64 is Jason Hall, a newcomer. And Christopher Blanchard goes from top to bottom here on the restart through 1 and 2. And the field's going to pull back in that lead group very quickly as they were all 3 wide and very slow. Big runs off the corner for everyone further on back. Here's Brady LaBeouf already back inside the top 10. Here he's on the 3rd row, right behind Tim Hammond, trying to make a move with Raul Meza, who led most of the previous laps before that caution incident.
I tell you what a drive he made. They were sticking it 3 wide, maybe a little too soon, but not for long. Here they come again, ready to get unorganized. They're going to go 2 wide, 2 by 2, and then you got a couple of more trucks that are trying to go 2 by 2 up on the top of the safer barrier. 4 wide behind the leader. Parsons under attack. He's now the clown in the middle. Here we go inside Newbert's truck. Hammond will make a move on the top side. Parsons in the middle. He still holds them off, and he's got some help now as Jason Hall gives him a punt. Brandon Hall now. Jonathan Pugh now in the mix as they work their way to the back straightaway.
That 4 wide chaos disintegrated that inside line. They lost all their momentum, and it all stemmed from a very late block by Brandon Broadfoot. As we turn the leader, Hunter Parsons into the grass. He's going to come back up in the field. We got big wreck here in 3 and 4. Raul Meza up, inside, down. Adam Newbert hard into the outside wall. And you called it, Wesley. Big wreck before we even got to the end of the stage.
The storm was brewing down the back straightaway. They were almost going 2 by 2 in 2 or 3 different parts of the racetrack. You knew there was going to be some contact made. Parsons tried to make a daring move down to the inside. He got tagged, and then from there, it all just came apart with a log of traffic.
I'm going to try to bring up a replay and show exactly what took place there, but it looked like Hunter Parsons, like you said, making a move, gets turned down into the grass. This will be, I believe, what happens later on. It looks like Jason Hall, Adam Newbert are going to pinch here through 3 and 4 if we get this started. And we'll run it through these cars again. Adam Newbert's good. Yep, looks like Jason Hall, Adam Newbert are going to make some slight contact. Hall's going to come up. Brady LaBeouf barely avoids contact. He may have been just skimmed. And Raul Meza is going to go upside down. Newbert hard into the outside wall. Sean Hamilton, Kerry Trabue involved. A couple more drivers than that as we look at the rest of the field. Just the field scattered the best they could. And credit to Hunter Parsons for not coming immediately up into the field after getting sent into the infield grass, Wesley.
A jam session, if you will, going off into the 3rd turn. Everybody on the binders to miss that virtual gray smoke. And here it is in real time. Raul Meza, the Serve Pro truck. He might have been the guy up in front or trying to win this race earlier. And now for the 2nd race in 2 weeks, he has found himself upside down. Don't fret, boys. You do get a fast repair because this is the All-Star race, and I am without a doubt certain a lot of these drivers have took advantage of that. Look at Brady LaBeouf, the Louisiana driver, just barely got through that calamity when the big one ensued up on the top of the safer barrier in the high banks at Talladega in turn number 3.
Look at the save Donnie Lyons made, getting sent down into the grass, keeping that truck straight. You saw him go all the way down to the bottom. We're going to ride on board with him here. I believe we'll have to go back a little bit to see exactly, but just the wheel art, you see him there full throttle. He's going down into the grass. He's got the wheel turned all the way to the left there, saves it. What a move by Donnie Lyons to keep that truck from any further damage. And you have a new leader up front. That's that 69 machine of Tim Hammond, who sent it 4 wide into turn 1 and 2, Wesley. Right now, he's your leader here as we got Oh, just about a couple laps until the midway break.
So we mentioned what happened to Wisconsin's number 20, Hunter Parsons. He got tagged on the bottom, and he stayed to the inside of the racetrack below the yellow line. He came back up onto the racing surface, but by the time he got back on track to able to keep his momentum going from where he lost it going off the corner there, Tyler Dittmer, it all come unglued on the top of the racetrack. And luckily, he does catch a break. Whatever damage he's got has got to be when the 69 of Tim Hammond got into him. Oh, and by the way, right now, he is the man that is still up in front as the leader, but you gotta wonder how much damage could be on the truck of the 69, now up 9 spots in the lead.
Yeah, the 69, I mean, he has to be slightly concerned. Brady LaBeouf, though, I mean, very, very lucky with that incident. We saw him just barely get avoided by, it looks like, I want to say Jason Hall's 64 machine, who looks like Hall came up into Newbert and they just kind of collected the field and he went to the outside of them. Looks like Donnie Lyons has some right rear damage possibly here. We're going to get one more lap to get this field stacked up. We might have a little green-white checker for the little stage break victory. Cash payouts, it's pretty important for some of these guys. We should be getting reorganized and reset here as they get around to the tri-oval this time. But we'll go through your field top 10 right now for the time being. And that's going to be Tim Hammond is first, Brandon Broadfoot second, Brady LaBeouf third, Donnie Lyons fourth, Jonathan Pugh will be fifth, Sean Hamilton sitting sixth, number 93, Jason Stevenson sits seventh, Christopher Blanchard in that Ford, number 14 is in eighth, 30 Machine Ron Hunter is ninth. Rounding out your top 10 for now is Curtis Rogers in that 65 truck.
We were mentioning the schedule, and now that we're still under caution, we can put that back up here on the broadcast coverage of the NASRA 360 Racing Network. And as we just mentioned, it's All-Star Night tonight here at Talladega. I think we are getting ready for Indianapolis coming up on the 6th, which will, by the way, not be, I believe, next Monday night, Indianapolis. Then you got Kansas, Worldwide Technology Raceway, Las Vegas. And what you mean by emphasizing on this, Tyler, and I didn't even realize this, my friend, we're 4 races to go in the regular season, and you have got to be on your A game if you've not already got a win to put yourselves in the Sweet 16 for the playoffs of the NASRA Sim Racer Hub Truck Series title.
Oh, of course, and that's why I was saying Adam Newber, who's 37 points back, currently in the 20th position in points, behind Cody Knott, who sits 16th. I think he's the last driver feasibly, based off of entries and how Cody Knott's been running the season, who could, in theory, point his way in. If you're behind Adam Newber in the point standings, so 21st on back, you have to win a race, I think, in these next 4 to lock yourself in. And really, any of these tracks, anyone can win. I know we saw Nathan Maurer dominate at Kentucky, and maybe he'll have a similar performance at Kansas. But Las Vegas in the trucks is a completely different animal. I know the tracks are shaped the same, but the bumps in 1 and 2, 3 and 4 is extremely fast and loose depending on the time of day. Vegas races like an Atlanta SuperSpeedway kind of deal in the StimRacerHub.com truck series. And on top of that, Indianapolis is a completely different animal. I know the 4 corners are all shaped the same, but they all race completely different, Wesley.
Yeah, those racetracks are going to be very, very exciting to see how the outcome will be, who will make the Sweet 16 here in about another 4 weeks' time. So by the time we get to the end of February, we will know by March. March Madness will be upon us, and the March for a NASRA Sim Racer Hub Truck Series Championship will also prevail. Field is back inside the tribal. They're getting ready to crawl and creep to the Geico restart zone. Hammond on the inside, Broadfoot on the outside. Blue truck is Hammond, yellow truck is Broadfoot, and the green flag goes back in the air. Just about 2 laps to go in stage 1 here at the All-Star race at Talladega. Hammond gets a good jump. Broadfoot will follow LaBeouf, top 3. Here comes that truck, LaBeouf on the bottom, helping Hammond on the inside in 2.
It won't even be 2 laps. It's just 1 lap. We're on lap 20 here. We're going to race it all the way to the end. Brady LaBeouf going to have to wait to make his move on Tim Hammond. We only pay out the stage winner. Meanwhile, Brandon Broadfoot's slowing down that middle and outside lane. I think you're looking at those 3 trucks on the inside to potentially make a move here for the stage win. But Broadfoot's powering back on the outside of Jonathan Pugh here, and he's got help from Donnie Lyons.
So Hammond right now staying on the inside of the racetrack, shades of what also we saw Meza and Parsons do, but who's going to jump out of line? How important is it to win stage one? Broadfoot looks to the outside. Coming up is LaBeouf. LaBeouf to the bottom, Broadfoot outside. Another truck of Lions in the mix. They're 3 wide at the line. Stage number one will remain to Tim Hammond here. It looks like Tim Hammond unofficially is going to hold them off here in stage number one, but I'm thinking possibly, oh boy, it's too close to call here.
3/1000ths of a second to Tim Hammond.
Wow.
3/1000ths.
How close was that? 0.003. Hammond is going to win the stage barely. Wow.
Yeah, and it doesn't get much tighter than that. I mean, that was just an impressive race down the line. You thought maybe Tim Hammond had it in the bag quite comfortably, but then it kind of got a little chaotic. Broadfoot took Pew 3 wide, and they were all just kind of looking around, trying to figure it out at that point. And that's where it all kind of happened for Tim Hammond, trying to see how close of a finish that was. But we're looking for a quick replay here at the line. We'll try to get you guys the best view, see exactly the distance between these two trucks here. And looks like we may have found it here soon.
Looking to find the replay of this wild end of stage number one as they stuck it 3 wide, working through the tri-oval. And again, my apologies. I thought it was going to be a green-white checker. No, it's going to be a one-lap shootout. And it was highly entertaining as, again, Tim Hammond just barely getting up in front. Let's look at it one more time, the on-the-pole instant replay here of the entire final lap of stage number one. There you see the Doritos truck up on the outside of Broadfoot. By the way, pit road is open, and they are all coming down the pit lane in the top 10. And meanwhile, down the back straightaway, we saw a little concrete dust where one of the trucks hit the wall. This then allowed a big opportunity for Hammond to have what he needed on the bottom. He did have LaBeouf give him a push there to keep him up in the front. But then all of a sudden, as they work off that final turn, it got really exciting, Tyler, coming to the end of stage one.
It looked like Brady LaBeouf maybe have been in the catbird seat, but Jonathan Pugh just had such a run off of 3 and 4. He gets the outside of Brady LaBeouf. Brady LaBeouf looked at going down the inside, had to lift there. Tim Hammond throws the block. We're going to see how tight it was here at the end, and it's tight. I found the photo on my screen, and it's less than half a bumper here. And you look at that, I mean, that is as close as it can get here at Talladega, Wesley.
What a valiant effort by the driver, of course, of Brandon Broadfoot. And mind you, he was racing with Hammond, but he gave him plenty of room. Look at the room he had. All those drivers gave each other plenty of room coming across the line. What a finish of stage one for the NASRA Sim Racer Hub Truck Series All-Star Race tonight here at Talladega, presented by the fine folks at Hillbilly Custom Baits. And boy, oh boy, this just ups the ante to find out who's going to be now the winner of stage number 2, the race to lap 50, the run for the money coming up next.
Exactly, Wesley, and the run for the money is exactly how these drivers are viewing it, but they have to be a little wary. We're going to be about 27, 28 laps to go in this race. That is outside most of these drivers' field window. Maybe if you're at the back of the pack, can you stretch it? Do you risk trying to stretch it, Wesley? Most of the drivers I talked to said field window is about 21 to 24 laps. Can anyone find an extra 2 or maybe even 3 laps to get them to the end of this race? We'll have to see how some of these drivers approach it.
Well, we saw that drivers did take advantage of obviously coming down to the pit lane. That's smart. Obviously, do you think, Tyler, they've got enough fuel to go to the end for stage number 2 to the finish, or are they going to have to pit?
I think some of these drivers will be asking a lot of themselves to make it to the end. It's going to be very difficult for most of these guys to reach it. It looks like someone came back down and topped off. I want to say, who's that? Is that Kerry Tribute? It looks to be Kerry Tribute just came off the pit road. So a lot of these drivers come back down pit road to top off Brady LaBeouf, Adam Newbert, Chris Blanchard, Ron Hunter, Steve Barnett. So maybe some of these guys are going to try and stretch the number. Wesley, and I think that can make for some very interesting racing down here because those guys can't afford to go to the front. They have to stay in the maximum amount of draft possible, which will be near the back of the pack.
I don't know, man. If it's me, I honestly think we're not done wrecking yet. I think we've only just started. Yeah. And by the way, some of those drivers that got caught up in the big wreck, look who's back up there again, like Raul Meza. That's how competitive his truck is. He had to go already take a fast repair, already pitted before the end of stage number 1. And how about that? Taking advantage now at the end of stage 1, going to stage number 2, put him back inside the top 5 of that 37.
Raul Meza, though, has to be a little bit careful here. Yeah, like you said, he's already used his fast repair. He is no more lifelines the rest of this race. A couple more drivers, obviously, no more lifelines. That'd be like Adam Newbert or Jason Hall. So these drivers, I know they want to be aggressive here, but there's still over 25 laps left in this race, left before we start paying out top 3, sending out the checks. These drivers got to be very careful how they run the remaining 27, I believe, laps once we get going green.
Yeah, working down lap number 23 completed. When they come back to the Geico restart zone, we do take the green flag here for the final stage and the finish to decide who will be the winner here in tonight's Hillbilly Custom Baits All-Star 135 race at Talladega. Kyle Hess is now going to be the man that will lead back to the green also, Tyler.
I'm almost a little sad, Wesley. It's a little bit of a short night for us, not being able to spend as much time with you up here in the booth, but it's been a fun night so far, and I'm looking forward to even more fun here in the last 27 laps.
Oh, hands down, my friend. This is definitely going to be wild as the lights are off for the pace truck. The pace truck comes onto the pit lane. It's Hess and now Meza, Bullock, Wigington, all these drivers with Hammond, the stage 1 winner, getting ready to come to the line, ready to go to the green flag and the run for the money. Who's going to be an all-star of Nazareth for the Sim Racer Hub Truck Series? Green flag goes back in the air. Hess gets a big jump on everybody, and we're underway now in stage number 2.
Hess has a way too much of a lead, in my opinion, at this point in time. Raul Meza and Brandon Bullock are looking to get big runs here as they come through 1 and 2. Coming off of 2, they should be able to act like they were shot out of a cannon and make it quick work of Hess here. But who's going to make even quicker work? So it looks like Huck Wigington to the outside. He's going to try and find his way to the front. He's taking Brandon Broadfoot with him.
He's going to definitely take Broadfoot with him, and here comes also Bullock now. All this going on as they get unorganized again to the back straightaway. Look at how fast this mistake for Hess is costing him. He is falling back, but he's on the inside and he's not backing down. Meza's now going to be his wingman up on the outside lane. Comes now Wigington, Broadfoot, Bullock, all your top 5. They come storming off of turn number 4 back to the tri-oval.
Looks like Bullock's going to stay on the inside. He's 3rd in line. It looks like Lawrence Pugh or Jonathan Pugh is on the outside. Tim Hammond already making the 3rd lane work there. He's way up to the outside. He's got Sean Hamilton behind him.
Back up the banking. Watch that 69 of Tim Hammond, the stage 1 winner. He's now got some help helping him up on the top with Pugh. They're trying to get something started up on the outside lane. Pugh now back in the middle. Now, was that Meza? No correction. Meza's now decided to hang right behind Hess as they hit the back straightaway. They're not wasting no time going 3 wide again, though, up the bank and into turn number 3.
Brandon Bullock and Huck Wigington almost smashed doors there through 3 and 4. They keep it off of each other just barely for the time being. Meanwhile, that inside lane has pulled away a little bit. Front 3 are well clear. Looks like they'll take the 4th place truck of Brandon Bullock with them. Front 4 are looking to get clear through the tri-oval. Meanwhile, that 3rd lane way on the outside's finally got some formation. That's Tim Hammond, Sean Hamilton, Brady LaBeouf, and Adam Newbert leading the charge on the outside.
As the old cliche, second verse, same as the first. Top 4 trucks stay to the inside of the racetrack, hugging below the double yellow line. Right now, as they work their way off of turn number 2, heading to the Alabama Gang super straightaway. It's Hess the leader. Meza now looking inside, outside, Broadfoot behind him. He now jumps out of line. He makes a run on the top. He's trying to go for 2 for 1 as they hit up the bank into the 3.
That big gap behind Meza is going to hurt that inside line a little bit, but that's also going to give Brandon Bullock the run he needs to suck up to the back of Raul Meza. Meanwhile, Brandon Broadfoot's made his bed. He must lay in it. Now Brandon Bullock's going to fill that slot. Broadfoot will lead the middle lane. Meanwhile, Tim Hammond with Sean Hamilton to his rear is going to go take it around the outside. And a name we have not mentioned much tonight, Wesley, that's Jason Morales. He's fourth in line on the inside.
Yeah, I was just going to say, here comes the 5. Morales' truck now starts to get back up in this battle. Here comes now also Brady LaBeouf. All these drivers right now in the top 10, all fighting the blue truck. Chris Cinnamon on the bottom. He now tries to make quick work on some more machines. And he's hooked up with Morales. Clear a path. They're using the draft to get to Bullock, Meza, and Hess as they work into turn number 3.
Morales jumps to the outside, makes it 3 wide for third. He's going to see if he can pull Brandon Broadfoot with him. Meanwhile, it's going to slow Tim Hammond's assault towards the front. Still out in front, though, you have Kyle Hess, Raul Meza, Brandon Bullock on the inside. Now Chris Cinnamon will be fourth in line on the inside. That middle line keeps falling apart. Morales may have wished he did not leave that bottom lane. Cinnamon's going to be to his inside, Hammond to his outside. He's only got Brandon Broadfoot behind him, but it looks like another truck's going to try and fill that gap. That looks to be Jason Hall's machine trying to go up there and join the middle lane.
Hess is the leader. Meza on the inside. Bullock is going to follow as they work their way to the bottom of the racetrack. Morales and Cinnamon now trying to get something unorganized and get it going to the front, as here comes that truck on the outside. Look at Cinnamon now down below the apron, below the yellow line. Got to find a way to get back up in there with that pack. And all the while, now they go 2 by 2 by 2. Now 3 wide. LaBeouf up on the outside. This works their way. They come to the line on lap 28.
Cinnamon got loose. I don't know if he had contact with someone, but he's going to get way loose off the corner. It looks like Huck Wington just went to the outside wall. He's going to lose a ton of spots. He'll have to file back in with everyone else who's kind of just coasting around the back. That's going to Bray LaBeouf. He's got no help. Nope. Now he has Jason Morales, his teammate, to help him there. And they'll join Chris Cinnamon now, making it 3 trucks on the outside. But now Tim Hammond pushing to the outside of Kyle Hess through 1 and 2. It's Hammond and Hamilton versus Hess and Meza, who's going to have the run off of 2.
Working their way back across turn number 2, back to the back straightaway of the Alabama super stretch. In remembrance of the Alabama gang and all the names of the Hueytown driver greats, Hammond is still the man in the middle right there, inside. Hess on the bottom. Outside is also going to be running with him, the 89 of Sean Hamilton. First time we mentioned him since Homestead last week. All the while, they work off turn 4 trouble.
They keep him straight, but it looks like multiple contact. That's Jason Hall, Jason Morales, Brandon Broadfoot, maybe even Brady LaBeouf, all getting into the outside wall off of 4. Brady LaBeouf's going to fall way back in line. He's going to fall outside your top 14. He's down 15th now. Meanwhile, that's going to really thin out this pack up front as we look at just over 20 laps to go. We're on lap 30.
No caution, and we'll stay for the green. Closing in on 20 laps to go. Duck on another 10 laps here in stage number 2 for the finish of this all-star race here for the Nazareth Sim Racer Hub Truck Series at Talladega. All the while, Hammond, stage 1 winner, literally under attack. He's got Hamilton behind him, up on the top. On the bottom is Hess with Meza. 2 is better than 1, 3 is better than 2, and obviously Stevenson's trying to get something started as Hess and Meza are coming to the pits. They got a pit.
I think you're seeing the fact that the field had gotten so spaced out, these drivers were maybe worried that it wasn't going to bunch back up until 1 or 2 to go, and they may run out of fuel. You're going to see Hess lead a group of about, it looks like 11 trucks now down the pit road. Make that 9 trucks down the pit road. Raul Meza, Chris Cinnamon, Chris Blanchard, Jason Hall, Morales, Parsons, Barnett, Hess, Bullock, and Knott all coming down pit lane. Trucks of about 9. Meanwhile, the rest of the field's still out there. That includes 16 trucks. Tim Hammond leading that pack. That's with Sean Hamilton, Jason Stevenson, Brandon Broadfoot, and Jonathan Pugh, your top 5 there. So strategy plays being made already, Wesley, as we have 20 laps to go here.
Yeah, man, I can't believe. Well, here comes the other ones peeling off now. Looks like everyone behind them are coming into the pits. Sean Hamilton is in. Tim Hammond, Jonathan Pugh, Dan Hagan. This cycle's now Brady LaBeouf, the Louisianan, to the lead now in the number 9. He goes to the point. Newbert will now go back to second. Stevenson and Rogers are now your top 5 with Broadfoot right behind him in tow as they work off turn number 2. And this is certainly going to shuffle things up here in stage number 2 to the finish of this all-star race.
They need to get organized, and they need to get down pit road fast if they're going to pit Meanwhile, though, the big concern is how is this all going to shape up when we reform this field once all the pit cycles have been completed. First group who pitted, they're already pretty much in a single file line except for Brandon Bullock. They've passed multiple drivers who are still on pit road. That means Hall, Pugh, Hagan, they're all going to lose significant amounts of time to Hess and them. Meanwhile, though, the next group, it looks like Brady LaBeouf and Adam Newbert are the only two from their group to pit. So they're going to have to make sure they stay well and tight together coming off this pit road, Wesley, or they could find themselves in a world of trouble.
Crossing the line. Another lap on. Here comes now Curtis Rogers. He's going to lead a lap here in the All-Star race. The number 65. The Doritos 24. Brandon Broadfoot now back to the second spot. Stevenson is third. All of this taking place as they go to the back straightaway. By the way, do we not have a ticker tonight?
I believe we're currently on the ticker has unfortunately gone now, so we have to keep everyone updated on everything going on.
Gotcha. But we have timing and scoring, we promise you.
Yeah, meanwhile, Hamilton and Hammond are going to drop to the tail end of the first group that pitted. Those two are the only two of that group of four that came down. They're going to have to attach themselves to the tail end of those, looks like 7 trucks that are able to get off pit road cleanly with Hess, Barnett, Meza, Parsons, Cinnamon. Looks like, I want to say that's Blanchard and Bullock. And they're going to pick up Adam Newbert here and Brady LaBeouf here soon. But they're going to split now. They're no longer single file. Meanwhile, though, your top 10 still running nose to tail with Sands, Hunter, Ron Hunter's on the outside there. They have yet to pit. So meanwhile, you have a pack about 2 and 3 wide throughout losing time to this pack of 10 that are all single file.
Yeah, for right now, it's Curtis Rogers still holding on to the top spot. Broadfoot now right behind him at toe. Gives him a little punt. He moves left. He moves right. Still continues to hold that line. And Stevenson is there too. Hunter up on the outside. Lyons is in the top 5. New names, and it looks like they're pilling in for their money stop as they get ready to come to the line here and put lap 34 on the board. No, they do not. It looked like from that camera angle, Tyler, they were off the pace. They do not. They stay on track. They are losing laps as everyone else has already made their pit stops.
Yeah, Kyle Hess has now reorganized that second group behind him. They are all in a line ready to go, but Brady LaBeouf, as soon as I says that, pulls out of line. He's going to challenge for who I will assume be the leaders, because meanwhile, they have shrunk that gap to that lead pack of 10. It is only about 31 seconds now between Kyle Hess and that group of 10 ahead of him. So by the time those leaders come down pit, get fuel in their trucks, they will lose a significant amount of time, and they will probably lose the draft of this lead pack once everyone completes their pit cycles. But Brady LaBeouf will now be challenging for what will eventually be the lead by the time pit cycles go through.
Do they come in this time by? That's the question. As all the while, it is Curtis Rogers now. As they work through the travel, the answer is no. They will still stay on track. They will cross the line. 15 to go here in the All-Star race. Next time by.
I don't think anyone saw this being such a big fuel strategy race when it set out tonight, Wesley, but it's looking like it may become that. But this pack here, racing 2 and 3 wide, they may bring out a caution that may be the saving grace for those front 10, because I believe once they have to pit, they will lose a significant amount of time to this pack here. That is now 2 and 3 wide as Brady LaBeouf will hold the proverbial lead, although he is technically not leading. That will be Curtis Rogers still.
Yep, and right now they work their way off the back stretch 3 and 4, and now they are going to peel down below the yellow line. This is the money stop now for their pit, except for Ron Hunter. Ron Hunter is now going to be the driver to pull the trigger and try to go for the gusto and go to the lead. The 30, now the new leader. As everyone else is on pit road, Rogers, Broadfoot, Stevenson, Lyons, Allen, Thompson, Trebot, Wigginton, Daniels. It's like Lions, Tigers, and Bears, oh my, at Talladega. And now Kyle Hess, when he works somewhere around the racetrack, will cycle back to second. Hunter Parsons will go back to third.
Yeah, it looks like those drivers just get off pit road, and they're going to lose that main pack. And it looks like that main pack has dwindled down to 6. Something must have happened. We may have missed it, but it looks like Brandon Bullock is off track now. So Sean Hamilton, Tim Hammond, I don't know where those drivers went. But now you have a new pack of, it looks like 6 trucks up front. That's Kyle Hess, Hunter Parsons, Chris Cinnamon, Steve Brady LaBeouf. And nope, Tim Hammond did stay attached there. Ron Hunter, your leaders in pit road. He will definitely be left by the end of this race if we continue to go green. But now it's 6 trucks up front. If that front lead pack gets smaller and smaller, they may have to be worried about the packs behind them if they get formed up correctly, hunting them down here. And it looks like the final 14 laps in this all-star race.
Hunter has come to the pit lane. He's finally pitted. As the leaders cycle their way around, coming through the tri-oval, the leader will now be Brady LaBeouf in the number 9. Number 9, Brady LaBeouf. Where is he on track? He is in that pack right there, going to turn number 1. LaBeouf, the new leader now. Hammond, stage 1 winner, gets tagged. He falls to the bottom of the apron. Somehow he saves the truck from the contact of Hess. He'll fall back to at least 6th, but no caution, and what a save for the 69.
It's going to continue to hurt that lead pack, but I don't see a pack close enough together to hunt them down at this point in time. The next large pack's being led by Dan Hagan with Jason Morales, and they're just simply not lapping fast enough at this point in the race. Meanwhile, that lead pack, it's now going to be, it looks to be 5 currently. Kyle Hess leads. Ray LaBeouf's going to drop back to 5th. Maybe he'll try and hold up to get Tim Hammond back with the field, but he's got to be careful. If he holds up too much, he'll lose that pack of 4, and then he'll be by himself, and it'll be a 4-truck race to the end. But it looks like Brady LaBeouf should be able to stay there in tow, but I think Tim Hammond's going to lose that direct unless he gets it here real quick.
Boy, the run for the money now, under 15 laps to go, and it's go time here. A lot of drivers, no doubt about it, with the field scrambled around Talladega, are wanting a caution flag. Will this be the storm brewing where it's at now? Hunter Parsons, the cheesehead from Wisconsin, up on the outside lane. Chris Cinnamon is right behind him on tow. Hess has help. He's got Barnett giving him a little shot. All this going on as they hit the back straightaway, and now it's Parsons and Cinnamon cutting up, now coming down, making it single file tandem behind the yellow line as they work off 4.
Tim Hammond able to reattach himself to that main pack, and I gotta say, Wesley, knowing only the top 3 pay out, running away in a pack of 6, you ought to like your odds. 50% chance you end up with a paycheck if we run green the rest of this way.
Working through the tri-oval. 1 getting out of line there for a moment there. Hess getting impatient. Other drivers making something under attack on the bottom. Outside lane. Cinnamon, Hess, they make contact. Hess almost gets into the safer wall barrier. LaBeouf has to play checkup. He gets behind him. They're 3 wide with Cinnamon now, the monkey in the middle, as they hit the back straightaway going to turn 3. Parsons on the bottom with the lead.
Cinnamon's in that sucker hole. He has no friends. He's just got to slow up a little bit, get behind Barnett, and make that inside line 3 trucks strong. But he's going to hold there in the middle. He thinks he's faster than Barnett, and they're going to stay 3 wide for looks to be 4th position. That, meanwhile, is going to give the advantage to that outside lane of 3 trucks of Kyle Hess, Brady LaBeouf, and Tim Hammond. Do they jump down? No, they don't. Cinnamon's going to get a run thanks to those 2 coming down. 3 wide at the stripe for 2nd. All the while, Kyle Hess leads up front, and meanwhile, that big pack of it looks to be about 11 or 12 trucks can't make any ground on this lead pack of 6. Still 9 seconds back.
10 laps to go when they come back to the line right now. The leader is Parsons. Look at this battle. This is the battle for the win and the lead here in this all-star race. 6 trucks going at it for 1 spot. Parsons leads the cavalry up to turn number 3. Barnett will hug the bottom. That's the orange and white truck. Hammond back in this fight again. I thought a moment ago Hammond was going to be crashed out from the contact he had with Kyle Hess. But all the while, he's now fighting. He's got Barnett. Barnett wants to lead here at Talladega. 10 to go when they come to the line here, Tyler Dittmer.
Wesley, this really harkens me back to the day of the car tomorrow in the tandem draft. It looked like for a second we were going to get 3 groups of 2 working together, but then Steve Barnett was abandoned by Tim Hammond. Tim Hammond, obviously no one to work with, and he's going to be the lone survivor there on the outside. Meanwhile, that 12 still 8.5 seconds back. They are not going to catch this lead group of 6. They're now single file. Maybe they were racing a little bit, trying to figure out those runs, Wesley, but they're going to get here single file. They're going to pick up Raul Meza, who will be a lap down. Driver who we thought had a great chance at winning this thing after pit cycles ends up a lap down. That's going to be a really unfortunate situation for Raul Meza.
That tandem battle where they were side by side in a pack has now become single tandem, and the cavalry is all nose to tail. The conga line working their way, if you will. 6 trucks through the tri-oval. One's trying to sneak back up in there, but Parsons comes to the line. He's not in front. They stay to the yellow line. They go to the banking, climbing turn number 1. Cinnamon, Barnett, Who's jumping out of the line on Parsons? The cheesehead out in front off turn 2.
These 6 are just so much faster than that big pack of about 12 trucks. This is your race for the win here as we're riding on board with Kyle. He's sitting there behind Steve Barnett. We're looking at 8 laps to go. They'll get 7 laps to go when they come to the stripe this time. Still out front, though, Hunter Parsons leads Chris Cinnamon. We're going to ride on board with Chris Cinnamon here with the Overtop Designs paint scheme. At number 3, Machine the Canadian, looking for a move potentially on Hunter Parsons. You have to think, does he believe he is in the catbird seat at this point in time, Wesley, sitting in second? Or is the winner going to come from further back in this group?
Got to keep an eye on it, my friend, as they work their way coming to the line. It's going to be 8 now, make it 7 to go. When they come to the stripe, there is a slow truck, lap truck up in front of them. As you see Parsons, a little wiggle and a jiggle and a giggle and a bobble, and still not being denied. He'll stay up in front. Chris Cinnamon, the number 3, right there in tow. Barnett on the inside. Here comes now a second group running down now. The truck in the back of the 89 at one time up in the front fighting for the win. Not anymore, as that's the driver as Sean A. Hamilton that just went a lap down. All the while, new leader, Cinnamon, blue 3 to the lead as they work off turn 4.
Cinnamon takes that lead. Sean Hamilton, the lap truck's going to catch this lead pack and stay with them. Important to note that brown truck's the lap down, not competing for a top spot. But also, Sean Hamilton worked with Tim Hammond throughout much of this race, Wesley. Do you think he may be, as a lap truck, going to find the way to the back of that 69 machine and try to get his buddy a win here? That's something we have to keep an eye out for the rest of this race.
Well, one of the things we have to talk about is your
teammates. And they're hooking up right there.
And there you go, right there. You see him. Hamilton and Hammond are right there in tow with each other now. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's a race going on. I'm not going to win it, but if I can help my teammate win it, absolutely I'm going to. Now Cinnamon on the bottom.
If you have to think, if Hammond ends up winning this thing with the help of Hamilton, maybe Hammond should slide a little bit of that prize money towards Hamilton at the end of the day. I know I myself, being lapped down, have helped a driver to a win at a SuperSpeedway late in it just by pushing them to the end in a very small lead pack. Nothing wrong with it. Like you said, teammates have to work together, friends have to work together, and we see it all the time in SuperSpeedway racing. We saw it with Tyler Reddick and Austin Dillon at Daytona last summer, getting Austin Dillon into the playoffs. Tyler Reddick was a lap down. He played defense the entire last lap. Got Austin Dillon, that Team ARCR, into the playoffs. Meanwhile, this isn't for the playoffs, but Sean Hamilton helping Tim Hammond out to maybe a race win tonight as they're about to lap Christopher Blanchard.
Look at him in the middle. Hammond, Hamilton, right there with one another. Remember that red truck, the HD Motorsports machine, is a lap down, but he's helping his teammate, Tim Hammond, power alongside driver ride of Cinnamon, the leader. And now Tim Hammond is going to go to the lead. All of this going on as they work off turn number 4, screaming through the tri-oval. 5 laps to go. It is go time. Who's going to be the NASRA All-Star of the trucks at Talladega? Time is running out. Sands of the hourglass going short as they go to turn 1.
Stop me if you heard me say this one before, but we have another lap truck joining the battle. Christopher Blanchard, who's he going to help to the win? Him and Sean Hamilton have now mixed up this race entirely. That's an 8 truck pack now. 2 lap trucks, though, that can very much affect the outcome of this race as they have less than 5 laps to go. We're looking 4 to go this time, and these drivers are looking for a way to find themselves in victory lane.
Place your bets. Who's it going to be? Hammond, stage 1 winner. Help of his teammate, lap truck Hamilton. The burgundy truck up on the outside. He gave Hammond the lead. Cinnamon in his own world. Down to the bottom. Here comes now Kyle Hess. He wants to get something started and try to go 3 wide again. These trucks with a lap truck in the way now make it 7. Now make it 6 trucks fighting for the win. They're right there with that pack going to turn number 2 there, Tyler.
3 laps to go. These drivers have to figure out how to make the move and get by that lap truck of Sean Hamilton and make a move on Tim Hammond. Now you're going to see a run maybe forming on the outside lane. That's Brady LaBeouf. Kyle Hess. They're taking Steve Barnett, who is fighting potentially for the win with them. Christopher Blanchard, that 14 forward lap down. Who's he going to go with? What lane will he help? We don't know at this point in time, but right now you know that Sean Hamilton is not going to leave the back bumper of Tim Hammond.
looking left, looking right. Hammond stays hugged to the bottom with his teammate Hamilton. Hess now has a wingman. Here comes Brady LaBeouf with the help of Steve Barnett, working the outside lane. Cinnamon now gets back in the dogfight. It hooks up with Hammond and Hamilton down to the inside. 2 to go. Bullhorns are out at Talladega. The time is running out. Somebody's got to go for the win and the money.
Oh, help us. We're going to catch another lap truck here. I can't tell who that is, if that's Tyler Daniels or Raul Meza. It looks like Tyler Daniels will pull off the track. Meanwhile, these drivers are battling. You have 4 trucks in that outside lane, 2 tightly together on the bottom with Hammond and Hamilton. Meanwhile, though, Kyle Hess looking to take the lead with the help of brake. Caution is out.
Yellow flag will fly here at the closing laps. They were getting ready to take the white flag. And now we go to a shootout to decide the All-Star race. Would you have it any other way? Yellow flag for the 3rd time, Tyler. And this will set up overtime for the All-Star race here tonight at Talladega.
Looks like Ron Hunter, Brandon Broadfoot get involved. Cody Knott goes around that. Mike Allen into the outside wall. John Allen, or I believe Jason Hall involved there. Cody Knott, again, the big one who suffers the most damage. But looks like that big pack who could not catch those leaders. Some of those drivers are going to get a second chance here.
Well, there you see the problem. Truck number 96. Putting us under caution. That is, again, Torrey Thompson. And more trucks in that pack. I think Ron Hunter in the 30 is a part of it. Cody Knott might have also got tangled up in it. The 24, Brandon Broadfoot.
That's a big wreck that all started in the middle of that pack there. It looks like Wesley just...
Here it is. Ron Hunter just got into Broadfoot. Not nowhere to go. Other trucks nowhere to go, and then they just piled in from there.
It'll be interesting to see who had a faster pair left and who can compete for this win. But right now, up front, you know who this is actually going to hurt, Wesley, and it's surprising to say. It's going to hurt Tim Hammond because Sean Hamilton will have to cycle to the back of the field. He has lost his dancing partner.
Wow. And there's another look at it from another angle. By the way, on the pole, instant replay. Our broadcast coverage again tonight for the All-Star race is Hillbilly Custom Baits. And from another angle, close in, Cody Knott, truck on the inside, Warrior on the sponsor, Team Warrior, or Team Watson, my apologies. Then you see the red truck in the middle, slung like a rag doll virtually, here going in his Chevrolet. And then everyone else on the binders getting caught up in it, and they're thinking to themselves what might have been hopes for the finish dashed for those 6 drivers fighting for the win with the help of a lap truck for Hammond. And now, Tyler Dittmer, we get ready for overtime here for the All-Star race. How many attempts do they get? 2? 3?
They get
Unlimited?
2 tonight, Wesley. We have 2 attempts in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series, and it's important to note that half the races in Speed Weeks ended with 1 green-white checkered. The other half never made it to a green-white checkered. So every other race, it seems, we have one of these, but we've never had 2 green-white checkers yet this season. The SimRacerHub.com Truck Series, we're looking to keep that trend alive tonight. But let's do a quick rundown of your top 10 and really your drivers who are fighting for a win tonight. Kyle Hess, your current leader. Tim Hammond, 2nd. Brady LaBeouf, 3rd. Steve Barnett, 4th. Hunter Parsons will roll 5th. Chris Cinnamon, that 3 machine, will roll 6th. Jason Morales climbing back into 7th. Now he's back in this race, along with Curtis Rogers, Donnie Lyons, Dan Hagan, Terry Tribute, Huck Wigington, Tyler Daniels. All those drivers now back in this race. Looks like Jonathan Pugh is on the lead lap. Jason Hall, Cody Knott, Brandon Broadfoot, and Ron Hunter still all on the lead lap, still all have a chance at this. I think Sean Hamilton did get his lap back. He was the lucky dog. So Sean Hamilton also technically now back in it, but he'll be at the tail end of the lead lap.
And by the way, Tyler, remember, they're all going to be 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, coming to a couple of laps remaining. Top 3 get the money. First place gets the bragging rights. This is the pressure cooker we're about to see to decide who's going to be this winner here tonight at Talladega.
And you have to look at drivers who have worked together tonight, who's going to work with themselves. And right now, I think the advantage so far, if this is how it's going to line up, it's going to be Brady LaBeouf and Kyle Hess. Two good friends, teammates, working together on that inside line. They're already ducks in a row. Tim Hammond's going to have to work with Steve Barnett. Haven't really seen those two work together much tonight, but they'll have Chris Cinnamon, a very fast truck in the outside behind them. Meanwhile, Hunter Parsons will be looking to help out Brady LaBeouf and Kyle Hess on the inside in order to give himself a shot at the win. So looking at those first three rows, really the only pairing I've seen work consistently together is Brady LaBeouf and Kyle Hess.
It is go time. Who wants it? Remember, stage one went to Tim Hammond. He is going to be on the outside on the restart in that truck number 69. Kyle Hess, most recent caution, up 25 spots. Hess looking for the biggest win of his career of iRacing if he pulls it off in truck number 86. And remember, he had some bad luck to open up the Friday night Triple M pulling series for NASRA at Daytona. All the while, they work their way coming to the green flag, the lights off on the pace truck. This should be interesting. And remember, Tyler, if they wreck before the white, we re-rack them, restack them, and go for overtime one more time to decide the all-star winner here at Talladega.
Yes, sir, and this is all the marbles right here. One lap to get them up to speed and one lap at speed to decide who wins this race. And really, this would be a great rebound on the season for Kyle Hess. Yes, he's 8th in points currently, but only has 5 top 10s on the year, only 2 top 5s in 9 starts. He has 2 poles, but he has not found a way to find himself in victory lane. Unlike the likes of Nathan Maurer, Justin White, Richard LaBeouf has a win on the season. Sean Hamilton has a win on the season. Steve Barnett even has a win on the season. So a win tonight would be huge for Kyle Hess, but it'd also be huge for Tim Hammond, who also doesn't have a win on the season. And Tim Hammond only has 1 top 5 and 3 top 10s so far.
Yeah, you know, I as we get ready for the restart, I just find this so ironic now, because for the most part, this has been a fairly clean race, Tyler. And that's one of the things I got to give mad props to these guys here at NASRA. But now you are going to push, you are going to shove, you are going to gouge. You might have a friend that's going to become your enemy on these last 2 laps. It is go time to decide an all-star. Hess on the restart. Stays to the inside. LaBeouf behind them. Green flag in the air. 2 to go. They climb the bank and into turn number 1.
Outside lane stacked up really bad there on that restart. Now Cinnamon's going to put him 3 wide. Steve Barnett has company to his outside. Brandon Broadfoot slicing and dicing through the mid-pack. That inside lane has a lot of trucks right now, but that means that there's moves to be made on the outside as we have 2 laps to go, a lap and a half. Oh, it got dicey there. It looked like, I want to say, Jason Morales almost came up into the side of Steve Barnett. Barnett's all over the back bumper of Tim Hammond as they enter 3 and 4.
They drop to the inside of the racetrack into turn number 3. They work their way to turn 3 and 4. Hessen, the leader, in tow is going to be LaBeouf. Meanwhile, they're stacking up behind them and getting sideways, getting loose. They save it. Holy cow, that was Parsons in the middle. Now they come to the line. Hammond getting
on the
turned
straight away
in the wall. Cinnamon just got crashed. Big wreck. Trucks did not take the white flag. Somehow.
We're going to do it one more time, Wesley. They were so close. 1,000 feet to glory. Wow, a big wreck there on the tri-oval, and that went, I mean, it looks like it started mid-pack.
You knew it was going to happen. And for a guy like Hess, he was thinking to himself, I was just a mere couple of 100 yards away from the flag stand to take the white flag, and they could wreck behind me and it would be wreckers or checkers. But due to the fact that this big wreck happened coming off of turn 4 before they got to the white flag, Tyler Dittmer, we are going to re-rack them, restack them, and go again one more time.
Brandon Broadfoot coming down again on another driver. That's Christopher Blanchard this time. Gets Curtis Rogers, Sean Hamilton involved, Mike Allen. Hamilton, I think, goes upside down at one. Nope, that is the 93 of Stevenson upside down, spinning around like a top. Chris Sim, you're going to see come down and hit the inside wall very hard. That's going to be Cody Knott. That'll be end of his night. Ron Hunter is out. Blanchard is out. Broadfoot is done. Tyler Daniels gets involved there. Big hit for him. 89 of Hamilton, another big hit. A lot of drivers involved here, but it looks like Brandon Bullock might have gotten through. He just slowed down almost to a complete halt. I don't think he has any damage on that truck.
And you know what's frustrating for a guy like the 89 of Sean A. Hamilton? He had just got back on the lead lap, Tyler, and then he gets caught up in this big stack up to put us under the yellow flag, and we will settle up for overtime number 2, which, by the way, unofficially right now, 54 laps completed. Look at this replay one more time. This is on board. Was that Parsons? I think it might have been.
I think this is Bullock's on board. He came to almost
Bullock.
Stop. Yeah, I think this is Bullock's on board. Important to note, Kyle Hess came down pit road.
Wow.
He did not have enough fuel for a second green-white checker.
We were wondering if that was going to be possibly a scenario. And obviously, you know, Tyler, when you add on more restarts, more overtime restarts, it's using up more fuel consumption. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, that's huge. Brady LaBeouf will inherit the lead. Jason Morales will have to get a reset top 10, or really just who's remaining in this race, because I think if you're still in the lead lap with only 12, 13 trucks, I believe, at this point, you may have a shot at this thing. Wesley, I mean, you look at the big wreck again here, full speed. That's Jason Stevenson. Wow.
Yeah, it's Stevenson. Man, there you see more trucks piling in. Not Broadfoot, 64 also there. This was your big one. And I got a feeling we might have another big one here again.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be after we take the white, so this race doesn't end under caution. But if you're Jason Stevenson, I hope you don't use VR, because that'd be a very dizzying ride for sure. This looks like now, I believe our leaderboard has been reset, and it looks like it has. Brady LaBeouf will be your new race leader after Kyle Hess has to pit because he does not have enough fuel to make it to the end. Jason Morales will be second, Hunter Parsons third, Tim Hammond, your stage 1 winner, fourth, Donnie Lyons fifth, Steve Barnett, Kerry Tribune, Jonathan Pugh, Ron Hunter, and Sean Hamilton getting his lap back. Now he's inside the top 10. You might be able to find Tim Hammond here in 2 laps to get himself back up towards the front. Meanwhile, the remaining lead lap cars includes Kyle Hess, Tyler Daniels, Huck Wigington, and Dan Hagan. But how many of those? Now it looks like Sean Hamilton's not coming back down pit road. He might have some significant damage here. His night may be over, so we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, remember Hamilton had problems earlier in the race.
And he did get involved in that big one. Yeah, that right side's
out. Man, what a tough break for Sean A. Hamilton. He got back in the battle, but he just could not finish the finish to be in the final laps to win the war. And all the while, Brady LaBeouf is now going to be the man out in front. The driver from Louisiana, ready to bring the field to the green. Jason Morales, you mentioned him earlier tonight. Tyler, a very comfortable spot currently in the number 2 spot for the number 5.
And he has arguably one of the fastest trucks behind him in Tim Hammond. How much Tim Hammond's going to push him or maybe leave him out to dry here on this restart? Does Brady LaBeouf and Jason Morales, I know they're good buddies. I believe they're teammates as well. Do they work together to get hooked up here on the restart? Does Brady LaBeouf stay with Hunter Parsons? There's so many things that can happen here on this opening lap of this final green-white checkered, Wesley, that we just really don't know how it's going to shape up. All we do know is these drivers are going to give it their all and should be strapping in for a wildly entertaining finish.
Well, LaBeouf and Morales will be on the front row when we get ready to go to green. And you can see those teeth, those venom, the venom helmet on the man from Morales. And he is going to be, if you will, chomping at the bit on Brady LaBeouf, pardon the pun, to try to make a run and win this race. As again, remember, this is the second attempt of overtime here for the All-Star race at Talladega. Leader takes the white flag. We race to the finish. Wreckers or checkers. Leader takes the green. Caution falls before the white flag. NASRA officials will look at time of tape to make sure the lineup is officially done. And that will be also the finish of this race here now.
Next flag will end it after the green flag, like you said, Wesley. Brady LaBeouf's going to lead this field to green with Jason Morales on his outside. We'll see how this restart happens. Does Jason Morales and Brady LaBeouf work together? Or is Tim Hammond going to push Morales? Brady LaBeouf looks like he may have jumped early. That might be a black flag. Restart zones, I'm not sure if they're in effect. Brady LaBeouf and Morales, though, get 1 and 2, and they're going to work together here as they enter 1 and 2.
Working up the racetrack, LaBeouf. It's go time. He's got to be strong. Down into the corner. Jason Morales, when will he make his move? Not yet. Working now. Down the back straightaway. Who's going to jump out of line? Here comes Morales. Here comes Parsons back in the battle. They're 3 wide, and here comes Hammond now back into the mix of the 3.
There comes Steve Barnett. He's going to get to the back end of Tim Hammond here. That's going to open up the door for Donnie Lyons. If we roll through 3 and 4, Hunter Parsons to the point. Tim Hammond now trying to battle for that lead. Brady LaBeouf's going to get a run with Donnie Lyons to the inside, and that's all going to bring Jonathan Pugh back into the battle. You're going to have 7 trucks under a blanket racing as we come through the tri-oval to take the white flag. This time we get there, and this race will be official.
White flag of the air. 1 more lap to go for the All-Star race of Talladega. Into turn number 1. LaBeouf is the leader. Lyons now up on the top. Stage 1 winner Hammond. Barrett. Barnett leaves him hanging. He goes from the top to the bottom, clears Parsons, trucks below the line. That's Morales. He's in trouble. It's LaBeouf to the back straightaway. Who's going to be the all-star in turn number 3?
Meanwhile, it looks like it's a 3-truck battle unless Barnett can get a mega run off of 3 and 4, but he's got Tim Hammond to his back end. He may be able to pull it off. Brady LaBeouf leads Donnie Lyons and Jonathan Pugh, who's going to get back to the stripe. Brady LaBeouf right now controlling Donnie Lyons. Jonathan Pugh jumps to the outside. They're coming to the tri-oval. Brady LaBeouf's going to leave the bottom open for Donnie Lyons. No, he doesn't. He shuts the door. Brady LaBeouf's going to lead the field to the checkered flag, and at the line, it's going to be Brady LaBeouf sideways and wins the race.
And they're wrecking as they work into turn number 1. Slammed into his Hammond. Hess in the wall again. And more trucks crash. Coming rest. Brady LaBeouf also winner of the All-Star race. 0.06. The interval. Holding off Lyons and Barnett. Coming after him. We got to see this one more time. What a show for the NASCAR Sim Racer Hub Truck All-Star race tonight. Tyler Dittmer, Talladega did not disappoint.
No, it did not. Wesley Outland, and it looks like the boss man gets it done. And I looked at the end. He may have opened up the door for Steve Barnett. Steve Barnett dives to the inside of Donnie Lyons. Lyons waited, I think, till the right moment, ensuring that he wasn't getting passed by Pugh, and he almost did. But it looks like Steve Barnett, a little bit of contact from Tim Hammond, actually, may have caught him into each other. But, wow, what a battle for second there. 4 trucks abreast. Unfortunately, though, the only ones taking home any bit of a check is going to be Brady LaBeouf, Steve Barnett, and Donnie Lyons. Look here across the line, though. That battle for second was just tight as could be, as Brady LaBeouf will end up sideways as he finishes this race. Reminds me of one hot night in Charlotte. Davey Allison and Kyle Petty here, Wesley.
Yeah, no doubt about it, buddy. They were fighting for it for the finish. Nobody was going to lift. Look at them flying across the line 4 wide. And then there you see Morales getting wrecked, gets into Hammond. More trucks crashing. Barnett's involved. There you see the 7 of Kerry Trabeau. Quiet night for him, but he gets caught up in the wreck as well. But when it's all said and done, there is Brady LaBeouf, the winner here tonight at Talladega. What a run for the driver from outside of Louisiana.
Yeah, Louisiana man repping the LSU colors gets it done tonight. Brady LaBeouf has to be very pleased with that performance as he burned it down here on the Talladega SuperSpeedway front straightaway. Waving to the virtual crowds here. Barney the Flagman looks on as that number 9 machine ends up in victory lane. That's the second win on the season for Brady LaBeouf. Obviously, he's already locked himself into the playoffs, so he is quite happy with his performance. But we're going to take a quick look at your final results. We'll run through your final results. I don't know if we can get those up currently at the time. But Brady LaBeouf will be your winner. Steve Barnett finishes second. Donnie Lyons third. Jonathan Pugh fourth. Tim Hammond finishes fifth. Kyle Hess led a lot of laps late. He'll finish sixth after having to pit on the last pit cycle there. Tyler Daniels seventh. Huck Wigington eighth. Kerry Tribune ninth. Dan Hagan rounding out your top 10. And then Ron Hunter and Hunter Parsons, the last two trucks on the lead lap. Jason Morales will finish one lap down, along with Brandon Bullock and Chris Cinnamon rounding out your top 15. But now we're going to send it over to our post-race interview. Standing by with Wesley Outland, that's going to be Donnie Lyons.
Boy, oh boy, man, oh man, Donnie Lyons. Overtime, all bets are off. What did it mean to try to be in the hunt to win this all-star race? And nothing wrong with silver. You'll take second here tonight at Talladega.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It would have been nice to have any one of my teammates around.
This event, hands down, no doubt about it. Looking at replays of it one more time, Donnie, what's going through the mind of the 79, yourself, as you send off into that final 2 laps for this restart of overtime and your chance to be in the all-star race to win? And by the way, you at least get some money.
Yeah, I mean, it was all about trying to actually make it. I mean, even the whole 2 laps, just making it to that last turn. So I went to make a move, and it was just a little bit too late.
Are you happy though this race was 9 points?
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Donnie, you talked about not having teammates up there. It looks like Brandon Brothel, one of your teammates, had an unfortunate series of events involved in multiple incidents. Do you know how he's doing after the race? And just also, how was the communication like with you and your team throughout? We did have those green flag stops there in that second part of the race.
Yeah, I mean, the communication between the whole entire team was great. And then even at the end, I mean, like I said, I didn't have any teammates left, but every single one of them was still there talking to me, helping me along, letting me know where everybody was. So it was still a great team effort, even though I was the only one left on the track.
I got to ask you, segue this into thanking your sponsors as well. You had to have a feeling, Donnie, that this restart, the finish was going to be like this, didn't you?
I did. I knew it was going to be a good battle all the way to the end. Congratulations to Brady. I gave him a hell of a shove there for a little bit. I was just hoping I was going to be able to clear him at the end.
All right, man. Sponsor.
Sponsors, love Chevrolet, man. LoveChevySales.com.
There you go. There's the thoughts of Donnie Lyons, and he'll finish second here tonight. Let's go to Victory Lane, and I believe Tyler Whitmer is with the driver of Brady LaBeouf, the driver from Louisiana, in the right place at the right time, Tyler, to win here tonight in the All-Star race for the Nazareth Sim Racer Hub Truck Series.
I'm actually currently with your second place finisher. We're going to get to him first, Steve Barnett. Steve, you kind of seem to be the patient one in the top 6 when that breakaway happened, just kind of biding your time, or just throughout the race, you didn't seem like you were going to make the bold move to force your way to the front and just wait and pick and choose your moments. But on that last lap, you made a very daring move, going from the top all the way to the bottom, trying to sneak underneath Brady there at the end. Is there anything else you could have done to maybe get that win?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I had it. I was back off the draft coming out of 4, and I thought I was going to get a good run, and I wasn't stopping. I was either going to bulldoze through people or I was going to win it. And luckily for Brady, he jumped down in front of me, and I ended up wrecking him across the line. But being patient all race, I was not being patient on that last lap, last corner.
It's all fair game, obviously, especially when you go for that second attempt at overtime. By the way, my apologies. My time and scoring was saying that Lyons was in second, Barnett was third. But I'll tell you what, though, Steve, this race, obviously, the ingredients could have been just wreck after wreck after wreck. But for the most part, I know we had the big ones here, but it was fairly clean. There was a lot of respect given and earned to decide the winner of this race in double overtime.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was a little, it was actually pretty tense the whole race. We did a lot of three wide racing, and I mean, I tried to stay out of it. Once I got involved in the first wreck, I was like, that's it. I'm going to just play around in the back until the last 15 laps, and that's what I did.
Well, Steve. I mean, it paid off for you. One of the few drivers that walks away with a little bit of money tonight. Obviously, finishing top three. We only paid out the top three for the All Star race. But before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Oh, yeah, I want to thank Carrie for the sweet paint job on my own business, and luckily this is pretty cool. I sponsor my own race, so finishing on the podium in this race was pretty cool. Thanks to Ron Hunter, team owner. Carrie for pushing me. Actually, on the restart, I was almost out of gas, and he gave me a lap back of fuel to make me to the end.
Well, again, congratulations on the second place finish, and we wish you luck in this final stretch before the playoffs begin. We know you already have a win, so you're locked into the playoffs, Steve, but hopefully you're trying to get another win, get some more playoff points before we begin that final push.
Yep, that's the plan. I'll see you guys.
Thank you. And now joining Wesley Outland in the virtual victory lane is the boss man, Brady LaBeouf, with Wesley.
Now we can do this. Brady LaBeouf from Louisiana. Right place, right time, crazy finish. You knew that restart was going to be wild, didn't you, Brady? How did you hold them off to get the victory?
Oh man, I was just hoping I had enough gas to get to the finish because that's what it kind of turned into right there was a fuel mileage race. And yeah, I had a teammate up there, Jason Morales, so I had some help and we were trying to figure out, we spent so much time under the pace laps just trying to figure out how we can make it a 1-2 for Mission 1 Esports. And it didn't quite work out, but we both said at least, one of us has to win this race.
Brady, you mentioned the fact that it kind of ended up being a fuel mileage race. You were lined up behind one of your teammates, Kyle Hess, but it looks like he may have ran out of gas on that final caution period before the final green-white checkered. What were the conversations like, and how tense and how close were you on fuel at the end of that race?
Yeah, so Kyle pitted under the green flag conditions about a lap or two before Adam and I did. And so whenever we were coming to the whenever we were coming to the white flag lap, that first green white checkered, and that caution came out about 20 feet before we crossed the start finish line, he was going to be able to make it. But then when the caution came out, he said that we needed about 2.4 laps to make it, and he only had, I think, 2.1 at the time. So it was unfortunate for him, big time. He had to go down pit road and top off. So, but I guess he'll learn from that.
Got to ask this question to segue from that. Do you think if he had enough fuel, you could have got around him for the win, though, Brady?
It's tough to say, man. You kind of want to set an example for your teammates, and I was committed to Kyle whenever we kind of came out of the whenever we did green flag pit stops and we came out all together. It was me and Kyle. I was like, look, I'm glued to your bumper. Don't worry about me trying to pass you. But it just kind of depends because what if cars start wrecking on the white flag and it's just me and him and it's guaranteed we're going to finish first and second maybe. But I was committed to Kyle right there to push him to the victory.
Well, Brady, I mean, obviously it ended up working out for you. Unfortunately, not for your teammate Kyle Hess, but you're the one staying in victory lanes. Before we let you go tonight, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, first off, all you guys, Nazar 360 Racing Network, Tyler, Wesley, Adam, you guys do a tremendous job. I'm so happy to have all of you on board. Everybody at Nazar that makes this happen. Shout out to my buddy Michael McKinnon. I know he's snowed in right now in his 18-wheeler. So hope he was watching tonight. All my buddies at Mission 1, Mission 2 Esports. We got a lot of teammates this season between the Xfinity Series and the 2 Truck Series. And just everybody that makes this happen, NRE Power Systems, Pulse Poppers, Hoopty's Garage, 213 Simware, Millie's Restaurant and Catering, Triple M Pulling, Over the Top Designs, SimRacerHub.com. It was a great all-store. We appreciate Hillbilly Custom Baits coming on board and sponsoring this race. Steve Barnett and those guys. So, and a big shout out to Donnie Lyons for pushing me at the end there. I know he was trying to make a move at the end on me. It just didn't pan out for him, but I appreciate him working with me at the end, and my family for letting me do this with you guys every Monday night.
Well, Tyler, when it's all said and done, the driver out of Louisiana, the number 9, Brady LaBeouf, is the winner of the Nazareth Sim Racer Hub Truck Series All-Star Race. Again, proudly presented by Hillbilly Custom Baits at Talladega. And again, man, all bets are off. And you heard me say that several times, Tyler. I called it. I had a feeling that it was going to come to an overtime. You said they got a double overtime. They needed a double overtime. But, hey, at the end of this race, I got to give props to every single one of those 26 drivers. They're all stars. They put on a phenomenal show, Tyler. We just had the privilege of being up in the booth to call the action.
And it really was a great pleasure on our end to be able to watch and enjoy and broadcast this to all of you watching at home. And just a fantastic race, really from start to finish. Yeah, we had a little bit of a lull and cautions early on, but then we had a very long green flag run with fuel strategy and green flag pit stops, and we had trucks working together in a pack, and we thought we were going to have that big breakaway of those 6 trucks at the end with Sean Hamilton, a lap truck maybe pushing Tim Hammond to the win, and then it all kind of unraveled for Tim Hammond and Sean Hamilton there in the last couple of laps, and so ended up that Brady LaBeouf was able to capitalize on that, bring home the checkered flag. Donnie Lyons and Steve Burnett also coming in your top 3, Steve Burnett second, and Donnie Lyons in third. So just a fantastic race all around, Wesley, and another great opportunity for me to sit in the booth with you and call another race this fine evening as we look forward to next week, I believe, at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So we're heading to the Yard of Bricks for the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series for a points race.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I think William Tiller is still on vacation or enjoying another day off resetting, and he'll be back soon, obviously. I'm just filling in for him. That was a last-second ask of while I was in Tennessee if I could make it. Thank goodness I could make it. Honestly, Tyler, I'm not going to lie to you. I've been in Atlanta on business all morning. I literally got in from Atlanta like 5 minutes before y'all went live. And I appreciate you as well as Adam Flieger, the producer, for letting me just kind of have a reset, take a break, grab a drink, and then get ready to join you here for this all-star race. Thanks to Brady LaBeouf, Michael McKinnon, everybody that's involved, all the guys I've worked with so far, you as well. It was a great race. I'll work with you whenever I can again. And, hey, by the way, the next 4 races for this series on Monday night, you want to tune into at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central. They are crucial because they will determine who's going to go to the Sweet 16 to race for a championship as you see the remaining schedule, as Tyler and I mentioned. And Indianapolis, buddy, that's going to be fun. The greatest race course in the world, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, virtually 2.5 miles. This is nothing like Talladega. And again, it is another wild card in this Sim Racer Hub Truck Series for Nazareth.
And we really do end this regular season on a bang with Las Vegas, like I mentioned earlier, one of my favorite tracks to go to in the trucks in the iRacing service. So we're looking forward to a great run to the playoffs. And not as many drivers have had wins as we thought we were. I believe only 8 drivers are really locked technically into the playoffs at this point in time. So still 8 playoff spots up for grabs. Cody Knott right now holding on to that last playoff spot in the point standings as it is. So he's got some work cut out for him here in these last 4 weeks. He needs some solid finishes together. And the guys behind him, Curtis Rogers, Donnie Lyons, who had a great finish tonight, Charles Keller Jr., Adam Newbert, all have their work cut out for them as well with these final 4 races to see if they can get themselves in on points. But as we look again at your Sim Racer Hub top 10 in the point standings, Wesley, it's been an absolute pleasure. Hopefully I'll get to work with you again in the near future. And again, like you said, tune in next week, 9 Eastern, 8 Central for SimRacerHub.com Truck Series action live from the virtual Indianapolis Motor Speedway. My name's Tyler Dimmer. That's been Wesley Outland. A great time had in the booth tonight for the Hillbilly Custom Bait All-Star Race 135 here from the virtual Talladega Motor Speedway. Thank you all for tuning in, and we hope you have a great evening.